Welcome to your reading for your sun, moon, or rising sign for the full moon in Libra, happening April 1st of this year. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to your 12 sign reading. I did create a video on the full moon in Libra. I would go see that because that will give you a good overview. It's very, very interesting, so I think it's definitely worth watching the whole thing. It is long. Those are long. Because I have a certain way of doing it that is long. And so I go very, very in-depth on the themes. But it's long, but I take my time and I really, really delve into it. I really, really go deep in these videos. And, they're long, but it's not me just repeating the same information and just repeating all this information. I've reduced down the information, but I go deep. So I really, really encourage you to see that if you're interested. But now the timestamps are in the description below of this video if you're watching on YouTube. You'll find that you can watch for your sun, moon, and rising. I would take all three into account, most predominantly your ascendant sign, most predominantly your sun sign. If you don't know your ascendant, you can always look up on astro.com to see what that is. So, without further ado, let's see how you'll be impacted and what you need to know for the full moon. So let's begin with Aries first of all. So Aries is very, very assertive. It is not afraid to stand up for itself. And you're very, very activated this Aries season. You have Mercury on your side. Saturn on your side. Neptune in your sign. Sun in your sign. So this is a very, very forward-moving month for you of April in general. And this kicks off the month with a full moon in your opposite sign. But you have the opportunity here to stand up for yourself. And understanding the importance of standing up for yourself is very, very important because that is what you're here to do. You are here to be an embodiment of somebody who is assertive, somebody who goes on the treadmill and works out, somebody who takes the branch off the tree and throws it all over the yard and does this in a courageous way and not in a way that's, half off and half on. You're meant to stand up for what you believe in, stand up for and speak your truth. And where have you not spoken your truth? Where have you been silent? Because you were told that you were too much, you were too impulsive, you were too blunt. Well, now, it was probably because you were operating in your ego. It's time to drop into your heart and your soul. Like when you drop into your heart and your soul, you'll find that you will be in your autonomy and stand up for yourself in a way where you're not bulldozing the other, where you're just actively and assertively standing up for yourself. Like one of the themes with this full moon is being authentic with while being tactful. Like I think that when you are connected with your soul, you can do this. Now, instead of fighting and going against others, because Aries is fighting and battle and I'm defeating you, and it's very, very competitive because it's like I want to take you down, I want to be better than you, and I want to get my way, and I want to put the full might into my actions, and I want to write my own story, and I'm going to destroy your story and burn it in the fire, So, this full moon is about peace. So instead of always needing to fight, I think that Aries fights because it's afraid of its survival. It's afraid of it being hurt. It's afraid of others hurting it and stepping on its toes. Like Aries is a deeply sensitive sign in that it is afraid of this kind of dynamic. And Aries moons are very, very sensitive because, Aries is a very, very sensitive sign because anything sets it off. You never know what could set an Aries off. It's kind of, you kind of, like, you never know because they're just so reactive. They're quick about it, but they're reactive. So instead of fighting and going against every single person in the world, just look to peace. Just see how you can get along with people. See how you can drop into your heart and get along with those in your life. Because peace is the doorway to your, happiness, and how you can evolve is peace. So that's one thing, is just softening your heart and connecting with others. Like, you don't have to be so defensive and so I'm pushing and I'm getting my way. Like, the soft, harmonious quality that you can tap into. Now, a very, very important lesson for Aries in this life is self-awareness. Self-awareness is being aware of your own actions and words and values and all that. Well, what actions and words, let's say. The impact that your actions and words, knowing who you are, and part of knowing who you are is considering how those actions and words benefit others. So, self-awareness does not limit you. It just means that you are becoming in a way where you'll be happier with self-awareness because you'll have better relationships in your life if you do have self-awareness. And so with self-awareness comes a choice. Am I going to just be in my ego, taking down people with my words and hurting others with my words and doing all this with my words? Or am I going to drop into my heart and be very, very kind and considerate and, make peace and not war? So that's another reminder for Aries about making peace with others. So it's a very, very strong message. So standing up for yourself in ways where you are using your authenticity with tact, and that's, how you can find peace. Like, you're very, very good at doing this. And, there is a way to do this that is at the high level, not the low level. And, Aries is here to learn from its opposite sign of Libra. Aries is here to learn compromise. Like healthy compromise. We make compromises to form bonds. Where we feel more connected and together with others when we form compromises. And it's a synergy of energies. We're not breaking the relationship apart. We're trying to bring it together. We're trying to move it into a stand of togetherness. So when you can understand that compromise is not, that compromise, like Aries needs to kind of learn that life is about relationships also. And, they're not meant to just go on their own quest alone. Like, Aries can be so, self-focused that it's not, that it doesn't open up to relationships enough. So balancing this out is very important. And collaboration. Collaborating, connecting with others in that kind of way, very, very important to consider with that. Taurus. Now with Taurus is a stubborn sign. But stubborn doesn't have to be a bad thing. And I'm going to explore the different sides of stubborn in this reading for Taurus. So, Taurus is stubborn. But stubborn can mean I'm holding on to a goal and I'm not letting it go. I'm determined and I'm willing and I have grit and I have might and I have stamina. And I am keeping to this goal if it is the last thing that I do. That is stubborn. That is very much Taurus because it is very, very fixed as a sign. Now, Taurus at best can draw very, very healthy boundaries. Taurus at best knows who in their life is aligned with their values and who is not aligned with their values. And so at best, Taurus can be stubborn and say, no, I'm not going to associate with this person. I'm not going to be with this person because they don't bring me the sense of stability within myself that I'm looking for. They don't align with who I am as an individual. They don't align with what I believe in as an individual. So, becoming an individual is very much what this full moon is about. And all signs are individuals. Like, you're not relationships, you are an individual after all. So we do have to remember that. So, what this reminds me of is I produced a video last night where I was saying this, I was talking about comments that are from these teenagers or young men that were calling me, bro, and talking to me. One was giving me advice and they didn't even know me. And then the other was just, I was like, how did I attract teenagers? Like, don't, look at me and think that I'm just another one of them, because I'm not like other men my age. And it's like, I didn't understand why I attracted teenagers or young adults to my channel. And I found several comments where, and I don't want to attract those kind of people. It's okay if I attract them, but I just don't want them to talk like how I don't like to associate with those kind of people. Like, with, how teenagers talk. Like, I could feel it in the writing that it was from a type of person like this. I'm going to tell you right now, that is not my type of person. Okay. So, the other thing, or the next thing I should say, is who do you depend upon? Because Taurus, I talked about dependency in that video. And dependency can be a very, very good thing, because it's like the importance of relationships. It builds that connection of the relationship that you need in your life. So Taurus is here to enjoy relationships, not in an emotionally secure way like Scorpio, but for the material comfort and pleasure of having a relationship with others. Just for the pleasure of it. The sensual pleasure of relationship is how they look at relationships, how they approach relationships. So but also, Taurus needs stability from others. They need others that they can rely on. They need others that they can depend upon. So who in your life can you depend upon? Who in your life can you just go to and go, that's my person. That's my, star or my idol. Or that's my soul in the back seat over there. Or that's my, person that I sit with, that I'm very, very comfortable sitting with on the bench or, wherever. So depending upon them is huge for this particular relation. And, you want to understand, depending upon these kind of people, very, very strongly with that. So, looking to ask yourself, who do you depend upon? Like, who gives you this stability? Surrounding yourself with those individuals. Taurus can also be stubborn in opposite ways, which is very, very negative. Taurus is unbending. And part of that unbending involves not being able to compromise. I know that, my grandpa had a lot of Taurus in his chart. A Taurus stellium. Sun, Mars, and Uranus, if I'm getting it right. Yeah. Sun, Mars, Uranus, all in Taurus. So a stellium of planets in Taurus. It's probably a couple more, I don't know. But those are the planets that I think that he has. So 3 planets in Taurus. And he was very, very stubborn. He, is very, very held on. He wanted to, watch his TV. He kept smoking, and he wouldn't stop smoking. That was this thing, is smoking. But in relationships specifically, there were times when, my grandma, who is a Pisces sun, who is very, like there's an adaptable flowing quality to Pisces. It just goes with the flow. I think helped him become more kind of flowing and adaptable. And so they would run into conflicts, even though they were sextile each other, Pisces sun, Taurus sun, they ran into conflicts. So in relationships, you can be very, very stubborn and not bending. And part of a relationship is learning to bend a little bit. Like not giving up what you enjoy in terms of your pleasure, in terms of what gives you pleasure, in terms of what gives you joy and meaning. It's just being willing to compromise, being willing to bend a little bit. That's very, very important. And that's one of the Libra lessons. Like, look to your other Venus-ruled sign. I actually made a video while I was there, and I don't have it now, why Taurus needs, Libra. Like, Taurus is just a stubborn thing. But then Libra is not stubborn in the way that it is willing to make compromises. So Taurus can really learn a lot from Libra about the importance of compromise, because it can be very, very stubborn. In that way. So, and also Taurus works so hard for what it does, to achieve the security and the stability that it does. And so with its work, with the work that you do out in the world, it's okay to let others see that work. It's okay to invite others to that work. Because that is very, very collaborative, very, very, ingenious, very inviting for that kind of person to be in that kind of sector of your life. So it's okay that others see your work. Very, very important with that. Well, it's not important. Others don't need to see your work, but it's okay for others, because I think you can kind of hide yourself in and want to keep it private, because Taurus is a very, very private sign. But it can open up and allow others to see that. So, Gemini. Now, Gemini, you can really, really look at this full moon to look beyond the little details of your life. Looking beyond your small little ideas for what you want to do. Like, I want to go to the grocery store and buy a chunk of ham. I want to purchase Wrinkle in Time from the library. I want to have a conversation about bugs with this person. As random examples. So these little details, these little ideas. What about broadening your mind to the big ideas that you have, the grand ideas? Because one of the aspects during this full moon is Mercury trine Jupiter. That's an aspect going this full moon, and I do include the aspects in this forecast for all 12 signs. So, thinking of the big grand plans instead of the small, tiny little things, like expanding your mind to the bigger things, to get out of that. Because that just helps you expand. It's like the world is not so small in the little details. It's actually very, very large. So it helps you get into that with that. And then developing structure that is long-term. Developing long-term structure. Gemini can sort of, go about. Like, I want to go to the park or go, here and have this conversation, do all this. And it doesn't do this plan. It's very spontaneous sign. It does it, without any planning, just on a kind of, moment, very, very free kind of way. But there is an important thing with structure. Like, at best, Gemini can put itself in a career where there is freedom and spontaneity, but there's a structure. Like, putting yourself in a place where you have the freedom to explore and be spontaneous and be free, but with a structure that can help you be more long-term with that. And then getting out of your ideas and moving into your ideals. So you see the themes are very, very similar here. So getting out of your small little ideas, your every little detail, and looking at your bigger ideals, the things that you view as not flawed, your beliefs, looking at your beliefs. Use your opposite sign of Sagittarius to look to that. Freedom, peace, your personal ideals for what you want to achieve in your life. So ideas are like you can interact with people, and ideas involve other things. Ideals involve you taking those other things and coming up with your own ideas that are very, very strong, that are rooted in beliefs with what you're doing. And forming your own ideas and your own truth is very, very important with Gemini energy, because it's so open to everyone else's truth that it doesn't form its own truth. So, and then going along with this, others disapproving of you is okay. It's okay for others to not like your ideas. You don't have to please everybody. You don't have to cater to everybody. Not everyone is going to like your ideas, and you don't have to, because Gemini has a way with words of getting people to be on its side when others don't like its ideas. But, you can be sovereign in yourself and not be afraid of disapproval. And this is perfectly fine for Gemini to embrace. Cancer. So, the thing with Cancer is, they are very, very other-oriented. I have to nurture my family. I have to nurture the people that I care about. And they can put themselves in these situations where they feel drained, they feel hurt, they feel bandaged, they feel bondage, they feel constrained, and they can't be their free selves because of the emotional push onto them, on the emotional kind of pressing onto what they're doing and onto the life that they live. So, what do you want to invest your emotional energy into? What do you truly want to invest your compassionate, nurturing, warm energy into? Because Cancer is actually also very, very artistic. Like it can be, because of the emotional connection to its own emotions, and it can express that through art. That can be one form of it, but a goal or a relationship or a job or, whatever it is, what do you want to invest your energy into instead of investing it into things that you're like, this is not worth it to me. It's not worth my time. It's just not worth the mental investment. Like Cancers have a very, very strong boundary about who and what is worthy to them and what is not worthy to them. So very important to consider with that. And then, I think that Cancer is afraid of compromise because Cancer wants to feel safe. And if it's compromising and going along with another, then it's going against its own safety and its own emotional safety for another. That's the Cancer Libra square. It's like, do I stay in my emotional comfort and safety, or do I understand relationships and bend that a little bit? You will be safe with whatever compromise you make. Okay? Form compromises with those who understand you and your emotional level. Don't think that they are taking away your emotional security, but those that you know and those that you value and those that you care about. Be willing to form compromises with them, and then you will feel more emotionally safe because of that, because of now you've connected to this person. Now you have agreed with this person. Now you found a way in the middle, and you form this compromise, and you feel so much better. Because, when you're so stuck in your, safe, comfy cushions, then you'll find that the other person is very, very rejecting of that. And then you don't feel so emotionally safe. And it's like, what is wrong with me? Why am I not feeling safe? Why is the other person not liking me? Or not protecting me? Or not being kind to me? Well, it takes your loving energy to compromise with that. So, you can be kind also. This is very, very important with Cancer energy, is you can be very, very kind to others, in a way. But you can also be real. You can also be true to yourself, and true to what you need on an emotional level. Because sometimes you can sacrifice that just for others because you want others to feel safe, so that sacrifices yourself feeling safe. But you can look to the opposite sign of Capricorn for the lesson of self-respect. So having self-respect is very, very important. Like knowing yourself and standing up for yourself and doing all that with self-respect. So healthy self-respect, being your real self, and not sugarcoating your emotions for others, but being transparent. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm experiencing right now, and just being honest about it also. Now, saying no is very important. With Cancer, they can, go along to just, get along in a kind of way, where they're just, saying yes and not really, standing up for themselves and drawing healthy boundaries. And so with those who hurt you emotionally, those who take away your, joy and your love emotionally, this is the time to say no. I'm not going to let you take away my emotional security. Saying no to this person, this is not this. Joe Frost taught this. Like, saying no is not being mean, rejecting a person. It is boundaries. And sometimes Cancer can't draw clear boundaries. Like, you're learning to develop healthy boundaries in this life with others when it comes to saying no, and protecting your own energy, preserving and conserving your own emotional energy, and thinking of your own safety first. As they say, your own safety first. So, very, very important for Cancers to consider. Now, Leo. Leo can be, kind of, I don't like this about Leo. Shy. I'm not a fan of Leo when it is shy. I'm a fan of it when it is connected to its heart, and it's not drowned out by others, and it's not so self-conscious that it shuts its creative and heart energy down, and it becomes so introverted. It becomes like my dad, a family member, is very, very, kind of, shy, not the most, open, person in the world, and kind of, I feel, has been very, very self-conscious of others. Like, I just, that is probably something of why, I was against Leo energy. But this is about standing up. And actually, you know what? I can be courageous. And I can be bold. I can be my bold, true self. And I can act this way in relationships. I can be my bold self very, very strongly. And then another downside of Leo is falling into narcissism. And narcissism is when you constantly need external validation from others. These two things combine. Self-consciousness and narcissism combine. Because with narcissism, you're so egoic and you don't feel secure within yourself. That's why you need all this, attention from others. Why you are egoic. Why you are self-centered. Why you are, selfish at times. It's because of this narcissistic quality. So, stop seeking the validation. And when you stop this, you'll find that you naturally consider others' opinions and viewpoints and not needing validation from them. You're aware of the others around you. And then you can come together and express something together with another. Like a collaboration between two artists or two, YouTubers. Where, you're kind of synergy. Like, you're not just expressing your own light, You're allowing somebody else to come in and express your own light, and you do it together. Like, you express this light together. You, express what you want to express with another, and it's very, very, kind of pouring in that way. So, there is a sense of needing compromise with this, and needing to combine your energies to make something that you didn't think. Like, here's the thing, is when you, this is, it's when you are so creative in yourself, but look at what another person could do creatively, and when the two combine, it becomes more than you can possibly imagine. You can do more than you can possibly imagine with that, coming with something that you didn't imagine. So there's advantages to that. And the last thing is charitability. With Leo energy, they're so wanting to help and need from a place of heart. And so when you use your heart energy to help those in your life that you need, and be charitable to those in need, you'll really, really go far with what you do in your life. Virgo. Now, Virgo can, at worst, Virgo is so resistant to judgment. So resistant to judgment, and the reason why is they view it as an attack. They view it because they're already hard on themselves. Like they may judge you, but don't judge them. And so in this case, it's about others judging you, and others' opinions keeping you from what you want. Others' judgments, like, you can't do this. You are not worthy enough to do this. You don't have the skills to do this. You can't even measure, so how can you cook? You can't even run, so how can you walk? Like you see, these people that doubt you, like these people that condition you into thinking that you can't do it, and make you feel like it's safe to do this. It's safe to follow them. You're going to get hurt if you don't do it. Like, other people doing this because they think they're trying to protect you, but really they're projecting, and really it feels draining to you, and you have to stand back and recognize that and say, you know what? No. Despite what you say, I'm going to go after what I really, really want to do, and I'm not going to let your judgment and your doubt deter me from what I want. So that's a good lesson for Virgo. And then, what is the idea that you want to act upon? That you've been putting aside because of all your responsibilities? Like, what is that big idea that you want to do in your life? So considering that's very, very important. And then, now, with this also comes judging others. Now, when it comes to judging others, it's very, very important to make others feel at peace around you, instead of judging them. So, because, with Virgo, you can criticize. And this criticism makes it so that others can't find peace with who you are, because you're constantly judging. You should do this, you should do that, telling me, oh my goodness gracious. I received a comment from this person a long time ago on my original channel where they were giving me advice and they didn't even know me. Giving me all this, like, you should do exercise. I recommend calisthenics. It's just, I just, wow. I mean, someone giving me free advice I didn't even ask for, as if they knew me. It's like every comment, even the mean ones, except the, really, graphic ones that are, like, no, but the, where you're writing now, and every comment is just so real and just so attractive, but still I have to be real with myself, with that. But anyway, it's kind of like, I don't want to make any assumptions about that. I mean, I guess you could say saying that I don't exercise enough. You're kind of like saying that, like, you don't exercise enough, so I'm saying that you should exercise. It's like, you don't know me, you don't know how I exercise, and it's just, wow. Some people, unbelievable. So, instead of, judging others, judging them for their flaws, be kind, be peaceful, be open with others. It's very, very important. And then not being afraid to give others advice when you know them, as I talked about before. Like give advice to those you know, not just seeing any random person and assuming that you know something about them, and then giving advice when you don't clearly know them. This is what this person did, is they gave me advice without even knowing who I was. And it wasn't very nice. I said to them, like, I'm curious as to how you're giving me the advice when you clearly do not know who I am. So, only being discerning about whom you give advice to those you really know, not just those that you see on a video, or those that, they just you happen to come across, but those that you know, like, you know how they tick. Like, you're making this advice on good, solid, knowledgeable grounds. You're not making the advice just, not knowing them and just seeing a little bit of them, but you're seeing enough of them to where it's not just a false assumption, and that's how you're giving the advice. So then Libra. Now, Libra's cardinal. And as a cardinal sign, you go out and start new relationships. You initiate new relationships. So this is time to start those new relationships. Like, actively go out and meet people and collaborate. Like, this is what Libra's here to do. It's unafraid to go out and interact and because it wants to harmonize, it wants to connect, it knows how to do relationship very, very well, and it wants to do relationship in the right way. So that's very important. And then being clear about who you want to be when it comes to your, what relationship do you want to invest your mental and emotional investment in? Because some are just not worth it to you. Like, it's not worth it to be with somebody and invest so much in, and then you find that they're just not aligned with your values, and they're not right for you, and they don't agree with you, and they don't have your same beliefs and your same how you speak intellectually, and they're not on your same page, and they're just so against you, and you run into conflict, and like, you don't have to be with these people. You can choose the people that you want to be with. You're not obligated. Whatever goes on in your life, whoever you're with, you are not obligated to be with these people that are not worth your mental and emotional investment. You can take yourself out of those situations. And you can put yourself in situations with those, not just, accepting that I have to be with this person, I have to get along with this person, even though they drain me, even though, no. Find the empowerment within yourself to say, I don't have to be with this person. Because it's just not worth my, like, what is worth your energy and what is not worth your energy? What is worth your breath and what is not worth your breath? Like, I don't answer to questions that are not worth my breath. Like, some people ask me questions, I'm like, I'm not going to even respond because that question is just not worth me even saying anything. So, it doesn't need me to say anything. So, not being with those who, when it comes to that kind of thing. So being with those who are good for you on a mental, emotional level. Not letting others dictate your actions and control you. Very, very, very important. Because Libra can sort of is so charming, and it's just willing to, go along with anyone. Because it just wants to be nice, and it wants to keep the peace, and it wants to be considerate, and it wants to be compassionate. But you don't have to let others dictate your actions and just simply let them control what you want to do. You can be in your truth and your sovereignty. You're already a very, very kind, considerate sign. It's just being assertive, and when you can say, no, and really, really mean it, like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to help you with this, or I'm not going to go to this movie when I don't want to go to this movie. I'm not, like a classic situation is being in your autonomy, even like, let's say, the person's going to see a movie, and you are like, I don't like this movie at all. I have no interest in this movie. It's like a horror film. I don't like horror. I like, romance movie. And this person's wanting you to go to a horror movie. You don't have to go to the horror movie. You don't have to let them dictate what you do. You can say, you know what? You can go. I'm not into that, but you can go along and go and enjoy that movie. And I'll just stay at home. You don't have to put yourself in situations where you are wasting your time and energy over what the other wants, over what the other expects you to do. You don't have to be dragged along by that and obligated to do that. So, you have the freedom to do that, and you're stepping into that. And then, being in your power and independence also goes along with this. Not being bound by others and what they expect you, and then, being strong in your power with who you are as an individual. Scorpio. Now, one of the things I read about Scorpio is that they are a sign that is all about resilience. Scorpio is about the strength through struggle. Because Scorpio goes through a lot of, Scorpio is like crisis. I go through all these struggles and crises in my life, and through that, they become more resilient. They become stronger. It's not just resilient physically, but there is emotional resilience. There is, I am strong, in the kind of way where I've gotten through all these challenges that I can handle it. I've been through this, and I survived, and I got through it. So, what structures do you need to build in your life that can stand the test of time? What structures are resilient? That no matter what shakes up these structures, what hurts these structures, these still stay resilient. These still stay, very, very strong with, what you want to do. So, building these structures up is very, very huge, that are not going to, like a building that, is stable, that's not going to crumble when when something hits it. Building something that is, more resilient is very, very important. And then, Scorpio at worst can be very, very stubborn and uncompromising, but, actually what I've found with Scorpio is that they're so easygoing. They're so easy to get along with. It takes a lot to set them off. They're some of the kindest individuals. They're actually very calm and very chill and very, easy to get along with. And you can, with this, use this nature to compromise. Don't think that, like Scorpio can feel like if I compromise, then this person's stepping on my ground. This person's inhibiting me from being my true self. But actually, this compromise can actually help you connect at a very, very profound level, which is what Scorpio does with a person in this kind of way. So being willing to compromise is always a very, very important thing with this. And then, how will you use your power? How will you activate and use your power? Will you use it destructively? Like Scorpio worst can possess others and be very, very controlling and dominating and domineering and forcing you into things like but at best it's like how will you use your power in good ways, in kind ways, in caring ways? So that's also something to consider. And then Scorpio is kind of unafraid to speak to its shadows because it's very, very introverted and very, very calm in its, exterior. Puts on this common exterior, but inside all the pots and pans are just sizzling and bubbling away inside Scorpio. So, by not just exploding all these things out, you can simply say no. Like, instead of turning in on yourself, instead of holding in your emotions with what you want to express, like someone says something and then you feel all these deep emotions and you don't just assert yourself, just have the courage to say no. And just have the courage to speak your truth. Don't be afraid of hurting relationships just because you want to stand up for yourself. Like, it's okay to say no and protect your own emotional security. So that's really, really important for Scorpio. Now, Sagittarius. Sagittarius can kind of spill the beans on things, can kind of, be very, very blunt and put its foot in the mouth and say all these very, has all this confidence and truth to say. And it just sort of is very, very impulsive, like so confident. And so, in a very, very optimistic state that you just say things and you're not self-aware of the more serious, grounded, negative consequences of those actions. And your next sign, Capricorn, is here to teach you about consequences of your actions. So, you can be authentic and true to yourself in ways that are tactful, in ways that are kind, in ways that don't, hurt others. And you can speak your truth. And you can share your truth without hurting others. Another thing is having lofty ideas. Because Sagittarius is here to have these very, very big ideas for what it wants to do in its life. And so having these big ideas can be very, very strong with Sagittarius. It can be very, very huge with Sagittarius when it comes to all these ideas that you have. All these many ideas that go along with you in those kind of special ways. So during this time, it's good to have those big ideas and to be willing to put them into action. Just think big. Think big, think broad. That's your potential in this life, is to think broad and big with your ideas. And also, using your positive energy to give back. Like, Sagittarius is such a strong, it loves life and it loves humanity and it loves people. It just, because of its just optimistic spirit, it has a positive energy about life, and it can sort of, go along with others and what it, what they want to do because of the just enthusiasm for life, and you're just open to anything. So, you just want to give because you care about humans so much and so deeply. You care about the higher truths so deeply of humanity. And so using your positive energy to give back to them is very, very huge for you. And then I'm getting serious about your long-term structures. How can these long-term structures help you to evolve? Help you to grow into a better version of who you are when it comes to these serious structures. So because Sagittarius sort of has this plan has these big plans without any substance to them. So Capricorn is like, here's the substance. What is the structure? What is the bones and what are the bricks in the building? Like, the bricks make up the building. And so having structure a structure that you have to build off of to build what you want to build and to go after the goal. Like you need structure in order for your goals to be truly achieved. And Capricorn helps you ground the goal. And so getting serious about this can help you become a more evolved version of yourself, not just having this lofty goal, but knowing how to ground it. Capricorn. With Capricorn, it can kind of feel unworthy over, not being afraid to go out into the world and pursue what it wants to pursue and go after its goals. Like, it can feel that kind of unworthiness from family. Like at worst, Capricorn can be pulled down by family, who gives doubts to them and who just wants to protect them, but they're really holding them back from being their true self, and going after their dreams. So, with this, unworthiness, in these kind of relationships, if you felt like, others were making you feel unworthy of what you want in this life and all the prosperity that you want to achieve, then be with people that get you. Be with people that understand you and want to support you with that. And, to the point where, you begin again in these relationships, where you, heal all this, trauma, of others making you feel unworthy, and then, let others know how you feel, like, you're making me feel unworthy, and then, see if you can resolve that relationship. Like, it takes you being willing to say it to resolve it. Or being with people who do make you feel worthy of achieving your goals. And also, thanking those who helped you reach your success is very, very huge. Thanking those that, really, just not, it's like, there was a saying in a Doorman film where, be kind to the people on your way up, because you're probably going to meet them if you would happen to go the way down. So, so don't tear the people down, and don't just deny and push away the people that built you up to your level of knowledge, your level of success for who you were. Like, don't, tear, not tear those down, but just not acknowledging them in this case, and not thanking them for how they helped you, because I don't think that Capricorn does this life on its own. It doesn't climb up this mountain on its own. It's not meant to. Like, life, we're here to do, relationships. While you are pursuing your own goals on your own, you do have people in your life that are, also playing a role in you achieving your goals. So with whatever they did, it's about thanking them and acknowledging what they did to help you reach success. Like, I am as knowledgeable about astrology as I am because of all the astrologers that I watched and all the, the things I read about it. And so I want to be humble with myself and say I learned it because of them, and I didn't just come out of nowhere. Give credit where credit is due. I don't want to be the person who becomes all vain and egotistical and then just thinks I'm better than everybody else. Like, that's a trap that we can get into, is like things that you're superior, and then just not thanking others and thinking that others are less than you, becoming superior than others, feeling more superior than others. And like, I am very, very aware of that. I am very, very aware of that feeling, and I don't want to indulge it. I don't want to indulge me being superior and, doing all that, and I am not superior. Yes, I am very knowledgeable, and I do have a lot of insight to give, but I took a lot of it from them with my own insights. And everybody has a different way of contributing to the grand tapestry of life, with their own personal beliefs and insights and what they share. So everybody's different. So, I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just different and as an individual. So, and so Capricorn in relationships can be really, really controlling. It's like Capricorn, it's like, I want to be the leader of the band. I want to pursue my own goals, and I don't care, what this person's, opinion of this is. I want to be the boss. Like, there's this need to be important, need to be in control with Capricorn. Very, very strong need, because it's a cardinal sign. And sometimes it can be very, very controlling to others when you are wanting to control what they do, because thinking that, making them kind of feel like crap and making you feel like you are sane and you are superior than them because you are more rational, you are more reasonable, you are more wise, and you are better, and you are sane and they are insane. You are pragmatic and they are just not pragmatic at all. You can make others feel that in relationships if you're not aware of this. It is like a Capricorn said in the dance moms. I'm the only sane one here. Everybody else is, insane. I could make that meme something or other dealing with Capricorn. I don't know what it is. Jupiter in Capricorn or Sun in Capricorn or something like I mentioned that in my Jupiter in Capricorn video. And so, being aware of, not controlling others, telling them how they should do things and how they should, operate their life. But being willing to compromise is, what this comes down to. Not being so controlling and needing to have your way with your own goals, but compromising with, what your own goals are and blending it with the other person's goals and creating a synergy where you two are agreeing and then going on your own path and goals together. So, also, I'm not living up to others' expectations of you. You're not living up to the expectations of others of what they expect of you. Like Capricorn is here to have its own rules, its own expectations, and live its own life. It's not here to follow others' expectations of what they expect for you to do. And so you're here to have your own expectations. You're here to, run your own life and you have expectations for yourself, not conforming to others' expectations. So, Aquarius. Aquarius is about your ideals. Aquarius wants to live in a utopia where those ideals are put into action. And so what old ideals need releasing? What are the old ways that you thought that the world could be perfect and your old beliefs that you need releasing, that you need to release? So what are those old things like, that no longer resonate for you anymore, that no longer are true for you anymore, that need releasing? Also, considering others in your life, really considering the other individuals in your life with really, if you would go against them in ways that are just so rebellious that it's, there are sides to rebelling, like rebel, for a reason, but Aquarius just rebels for the sake of rebel, and I think that is meant to, but, having your own ideas and going your own way is different than just, rebelling against something. Like, Aquarius can kind of make itself kind of disconnected from the world and cut off from the world when it, rebels. And so, considering the others in its life, and Aquarius is here to do that. Like, Aquarius is here to consider the good of humanity and consider others. But in this case, it's considering others and how is rebelling hurting those relationships? How is my rebellion, my rebellious nature hurting those relationships? So bringing this into balance is very, very important, and that's just truth of life. I hate to break it to you, and I hate to break it to myself. But I'm bringing peace to as many people as possible. So that's what Aquarius wants to do, is bring peace to the world through freedom, through truth, through rights, through equality, through kindness and consideration for all, for humanity. It wants the world to be, like in the Aquarian age, it's like, why can't we all get along? Why can't we all hold hands with another and accept each other's differences? Because that's what Aquarius does. And when we do that, when we don't judge each other, we don't try to mold each other into who we should be, we just accept them for their quirky, unique, kind of weird, selves that they are, warts and all, accepting them for who they are, then we find peace between people. It's like in Maleficent when, the Moors were against the the king in the castle. Well, you know, the queen wanted to destroy the fairies and the maleficent creatures, whatever that they were called. I don't know. But the solution wasn't war. It was peace. And the movie ended very, very, you know, happily, like a Disney fairy tale would, where they found peace. So, and then going along with peace is that Aquarius can be very, very, you know, like being mindful of how you rebel. Aquarius. Like how you rebel is very, very important. Not only considering, you know, hurting others with rebelling, but rebelling in a way. I'm not saying you can't rebel, actually. I'm saying, you know, rebel in a way where you understand peaceful protests. Like, if you want to watch Martin Luther King Jr., which Aquarius is interested in history and historical figures. I made a video about that just the other day on this podcast. If you're interested, you can do that. But, like, he had, you know, like, lunch sit-ins. He did things that were peaceful protests. So did Gandhi did that. So peaceful protest means that you are rebelling and you are being truthful with, you know, rebelling against others and being truthful to others about what you believe with tact, with, you know, being very, you know, tactful and, you know, considerate and all that. And you can do that. It's not always, you know, rebelling and you know, being very, you know, defensive or and being very, you know, like I want to get my way and I want to, you know, fight to the core with this, you know. So Pisces, last but not least, with Pisces, you can use your compassionate energy to give back to others. This, you know, this is the high road of Pisces energy. Is you know, oops, my computer needs charging, so it's been running for a while. There it goes. You know, using your compassionate energy to give back to others. That's the high road of Pisces. Is, you know, I have this compassionate energy that I want to give, and I'm willingly giving it. You know, and you have a lot of energy to give. You know, like you are so open-hearted. You are so compassionate. And if you feel so down about the world, if you feel so depressed about the world, if you feel so hurt by the world, then use your compassionate energy to heal others, to give back. You know, do all those things are very important. And then looking at your potential, looking at what you could become, the Saturn sextile Pluto during this lunation. It's a very, very big aspect. And one of the things with this is looking at your potentials of how you can master yourself and how you become empowered through doing this. So, you know, looking at what you could become out in the world. You know, not just, you know, just dreaming about it and fantasizing about it and being in a state of reflection about it, but you know, looking at you know, thinking that yourself is, you know, like you can't achieve. I can't achieve this. I'm too weak. I'm not strong enough. You know, it's like Pisces is so unfamiliar with what it's like to take action on something. It's so unfamiliar with the act of taking initiative and take action, because its natural response is to just sit and reflect and meditate, that it doesn't act. So, Pisces can act on what it feels right to act upon. Pisces can act on its intuition and become something out in the world. Now also, you know, and with this, being self-assured in your dreams. and acting on your dreams. You know, like, what is the dream that you have? And, you know, Pisces is learning in this life through its opposite side of Virgo, like the practical details to make the dream a reality by attending to those details and do all that. And that's what I want to talk about, the South Node in Pisces, North Node in Virgo, about. You know, that and boundaries. That's the advantage to them. And what they have going on if I, you know, eventually feel inspired to do that video, which I do want to do more of the nodes through the signs, future videos. But anyway, I'm not going to push and do it, you know, for others, because no. No. That is not the way to go, and I know this lady on YouTube did, you know, nodes, you know, for the signs, and while I'd like to see her thing there, you know, if she didn't want to do it, then that's her choice, and I don't want to, you know, say you should do this and you should do that when you don't want to do it. So I don't want to be the person who does that. It's kind of, and that's what Pisces understand. Like, Pisces doesn't push others. Pisces is just allowing, gentle, allows you to be yourself, allows you to be who you are. It doesn't push, it doesn't force it. Pisces doesn't project, it doesn't judge. Like it's not the type of energy that does this, because it has some very, very strong beliefs that, you know, this is wrong to do. It's like it's so tuned into others' energies in the world that it's going to act in a compassionate way. So, you know, being self-assured in your dreams, and, you know, when you pursue your dreams, you know, you can inspire others to, you know, like, dreams doesn't have to be this big thing. It can be, what are the small little goals that you want to achieve, that you want to take action on? It can be big dreams that you want to take action on if that applies for you, but just the small little goals, like something around the house that you want to do, a new project that you want to start, or a book that you want to start. You know, what are those goals? What are those dreams that you have and that you want to act upon? You know, where you can do those and also inspire others to, you know, to go after their dreams. Like when you, as the dreamer, pursued their dreams, you're showing them, like, hey, you can go after your dreams as well. Like, it is possible to do this because I have these dreams that I'm doing it, so why can't you do it? You know, it's kind of that kind of dynamic. So anyway, that is your horoscope for the full moon in Libra, all 12 signs. You know, I do want to say that a couple of things. First of all is, you know, I will detach from trying to make this so perfect and try to go in depth and explain every little thing perfectly, because I am so knowledgeable, but I am only so knowledgeable at this point in my life. Okay, so I'm going to detach a little bit more. When I don't have to say, I'm just going to move on. You know, giving myself permission to move on. You know, it's not the end of the world if I don't explain something perfectly, you know, all the way. I can just, you know, move on to the next point. And also, this is where my knowledge of astrology really, you know, comes through with these readings. And, you know, and you know, I'm very, very, you know, knowledgeable about, you know, astrology and all that. And I want to show you this knowledge, and I actually had a dream about oversharing one night doing this video and giving too much information for the signs, and I just felt drained and exhausted from it, like I gave too much away, and I, you know, spoiled the rest of what I wanted to talk about with the signs. So I don't want to feel like I do that, and you know, so yeah. And, yeah, I want these videos to be, you know, digestible videos and, you know, interesting videos, and I think that they are. And, you know, if I feel like I want to really, really expand upon a certain point, then I will, and if I just want to move on to another point, then I'll just, you know, do that. So, I won't try to chain myself into doing it a certain way. I'll just detach, and I may say something which is so, you know, like you don't understand it or so random, but I want to be my full creative self when doing these videos, and I will be uninhibitedly. So that is what I want to say here, and thank you. I hope that you enjoyed your 12-sign reading, and I will see you next week for the next transit for the week of April, let's see, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, April 5th. So this is the astrology reading for the week of March 29th. And then your astrology reading for the week of April 5th will be next week. So anyway, bye for now.